A few days before my wedding, I discovered my fiancé's best friend had been in love with him for years. She kept it hidden and believed the wedding should have been hers. So we confronted her, cut her off. I, 25 female, am getting married to my fiancé, Nathan, 29 male, in 6 weeks at a vineyard in Napa Valley. I posted here because something happened at my bridal shower last weekend, and I need outside opinions before I make any decisions. Nathan and I have been together for 4 years. We met through our families. My mom and his mom went to college together and reconnected at an alumni event when I was 20. His parents threw a barbecue that summer and invited my whole family. Nathan was there with some of his friends. I noticed him right away, but didn't think much would come of it since he was older and seemed completely out of my league. My younger brother kept teasing me about staring, so I finally went over and started talking to him while he was getting drinks from the cooler. We talked for maybe 20 minutes before his friends pulled him away for beer pong. He asked for my number before I left that night. We started dating about 8 months after that. He wanted to take things slow because of the age gap and because our families knew each other. I appreciated that. We've been solid ever since. No major issues. We moved in together 2 years ago. He proposed last October during a weekend trip to Portland. The person at the center of this situation is Danielle, 28 female. She's been Nathan's best friend since middle school. Their families live on the same street. They went to the same schools growing up. When I first met Danielle, she was dating Nathan's college roommate, Jimmy, 29 male. They'd been together for 3 years at that point. Danielle was immediately very friendly to me. Too friendly, honestly. The first time we met was at Nathan's birthday dinner about 4 months after we started dating. She hugged me like we were old friends and kept asking me personal questions all night. She wanted to exchange numbers. She texted me the next day, asking when we could get together for coffee. Just the two of us. I found it strange. I'm not the type to jump into friendships quickly. I have my core group of friends from high school and college, and I'm pretty content with that. I was polite to Danielle, but I never pursued a close friendship with her. We stayed at the level of friendly acquaintances. She never did anything inappropriate or crossed any lines. She was just always very enthusiastic about being in my life. Nathan proposed in October, like I mentioned. We announced it on social media and in our family group chat. Everyone responded with congratulations. Friends commented on the photos. His college friends organized a celebration dinner. Danielle didn't say anything publicly. She sent Nathan a private text the next afternoon. He showed it to me because he thought it was weird. She wrote that she was happy for him and wished him the best. She didn't mention me at all in the message. After that, Danielle started acting different around me. Not hostile, just more distant. She stopped initiating conversations. At group hangouts, she talked to everyone else but barely acknowledged me. I didn't think much of it. I figured maybe she was going through something, or maybe she realized we weren't going to be best friends and backed off. I had enough going on with wedding planning and my job to worry about it. Then, about 7 months ago, Danielle and Jimmy broke up. It was sudden. They'd seemed fine at a game night 2 weeks before. Then Nathan got a text from Jimmy saying they were done. When Nathan asked what happened, Jimmy said they wanted different things and decided to end it before it got messy. Danielle gave the same vague explanation to the friend group. Nobody pushed for details. They stayed friendly. Jimmy started dating someone new pretty quickly. Danielle stayed single as far as I knew. My bridal shower was last Saturday. My older sister Stacy, 28 female, and Nathan's sister Aubrey, 27 female, planned it together. They rented a private room at a restaurant downtown. About 30 people came. My close friends, some cousins, my mom and aunt, Nathan's mom and Aubrey, and a few of his female relatives. Danielle was invited because she's part of Nathan's life, and I didn't have any reason not to invite her. The shower went great. The food was excellent. Everyone seemed to be having a good time. There were mimosas and champagne. Some people got pretty drunk. I had a few drinks, but nothing crazy. Around 3 p.m., I needed to use the bathroom. The private room had its own bathroom, so I headed that way. As I got closer to the bathroom door, I heard voices inside. One voice was clearly crying. I stopped walking. I recognized Danielle's voice and Aubrey's voice. I stood there in the hallway and listened. Danielle was saying that this whole thing should have been hers, that she didn't understand why Nathan wanted to be with someone like me, that it was supposed to be the two of them together, that she'd always been in love with him. She was crying while she said all of this. Aubrey was trying to calm her down. She told Danielle this wasn't the right time or place. She said Nathan would be furious if Danielle ruined my shower. She told Danielle to leave and pull herself together. I stood there, frozen for a minute, then I walked back toward the party. A few seconds later, Aubrey and Danielle came out of the bathroom. I turned around and walked back toward them like I'd just been approaching. I asked if everything was okay. Danielle had clearly been crying. Her face was red and her eyes were puffy. She told me she wasn't feeling well and needed to leave early. I walked her to the door. She left. I immediately pulled Aubrey aside into the hallway. I told her I'd heard everything. She looked like she wanted to disappear. She apologized that I had to hear it. She said she was going to call Nathan and tell him. I told her not to. I needed to figure out how to handle this first. I asked Aubrey if Nathan and Danielle had ever dated or hooked up. She said no, not that she knew of. She said their moms used to joke when they were teenagers about them getting married someday, but it never happened because Nathan was never interested in Danielle that way. Aubrey said, Danielle is attractive, but she's not Nathan's type. I asked Aubrey not to say anything to Nathan yet. I wanted to talk to him myself. I went back to the party and got through the rest of it. I called Nathan that night and chatted with him, but didn't bring up what happened. I needed time to think. I made this Reddit post the next morning. The comments told me I needed to talk to Nathan immediately. People said Danielle was a problem and needed to be cut off. Some people said I should remove her from the wedding. Some people said Nathan might have known about her feelings and hidden it from me. That possibility made my stomach turn, but I knew I had to find out. Nathan came home from work Monday evening. I let him change clothes and relax for a bit. Then I told him about the shower. I explained what I overheard in the bathroom. I told him everything Danielle said. He got up from the couch and started pacing. His face was red. He kept running his hands through his hair. He was angry, but not at me. He said he couldn't believe Danielle would do that she would say those things at my shower of all places. He said he felt betrayed. I asked him directly if there had ever been anything between them. He said no. I asked if they'd ever been physical in any way. He said they kissed once in high school during a game of truth or dare at a party, but it meant nothing, and everyone at that party kissed multiple people. I asked if she'd ever told him she had feelings for him before. He said never. He seemed genuinely confused and upset. He said he was the one who set Danielle and Jimmy up in the first place. He couldn't understand why she'd have feelings for him while dating his friend. Nathan wanted to call Danielle right then. I told him to wait. We needed to approach this calmly. I told him I didn't want Danielle at our wedding anymore. I said I only wanted people there who actually supported us. He agreed completely. He texted Danielle that he needed to talk to her. She replied that she'd call when she got home from work. Nathan then called Jimmy and invited him over for dinner the next night. He said something felt off about their breakup and he wanted to talk about it. Jimmy agreed to come over. I'm writing this update from the airport. Nathan and I are flying out to California tonight for the wedding. A lot happened since my last post, and I need to get it all out. Jimmy came over for dinner the Tuesday after my original post. We made pasta and sat in the living room to eat. Nathan told Jimmy everything that happened at my shower. Jimmy put his fork down and nodded slowly. He said he wasn't surprised. Jimmy explained that Danielle pulled away from him right after Nathan proposed to me. She became distant. She stopped wanting to spend time with him. She made excuses not to see him. When he finally confronted her, she admitted she couldn't handle seeing Nathan get married. Jimmy said he knew then that she had feelings for Nathan. That was the real reason they broke up. He didn't tell anyone because he didn't want to cause problems in the friend group. Jimmy said he'd moved on and was seeing someone new. He said he was just there to give context. After dinner, Danielle called. Nathan put her on speaker. Before she could even say hello, Nathan confronted her. He asked why she thought it was acceptable to go to my shower and tell his sister that she loved him and that he should be with her instead of me. He asked why she'd put Aubrey in that position. Danielle asked what he was talking about. Nathan told her I'd heard what she said in the bathroom. There was silence on the other end. Then Danielle said she couldn't help how she felt, that seeing all the wedding stuff made it real, that she thought she could trust Aubrey to keep it private. Nathan asked why she dated Jimmy if she had feelings for him the whole time. Danielle said she thought it wouldn't get serious with Jimmy, that she thought Nathan would eventually realize they were meant to be together. She said she tried to give Nathan hints over the years, but he never picked up on them. Nathan told her their friendship was over. He said she was no longer invited to the wedding. He offered to help her get refunds for her dress and travel arrangements. Danielle got upset. She said she didn't mean for me to overhear, that she was never going to actually make a move or cause problems. Nathan said it didn't matter. We were only inviting people who genuinely supported our relationship. That's when Danielle started attacking me. She said, I think I'm so much better than everyone else. That I act like I'm superior. Nathan cut her off. He said if Danielle thought I was better than her, then that was Danielle's own insecurity to deal with. Then he hung up. The three of us just sat there for a minute. Then Jimmy started laughing. He said Danielle needed professional help. He finished his food and left. Nathan and I talked for a long time that night. I asked him if he'd ever suspected Danielle had feelings for him. He said no, he'd always seen her as a sister. The thought had never crossed his mind. I believed him. The way he reacted to everything seemed completely genuine. The next night was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Nathan's parents were hosting a small dinner, just family and a few close friends. Nathan, me, Aubrey and her husband Danielle, Danielle's parents, and Danielle's younger brother Jeff. A couple other friends were supposed to come later in the evening. I had no idea what Nathan was planning. We got to his parents' house and everyone was in the living room having drinks. Before we even sat down, Nathan announced he had something to say. He said that anyone who didn't love and support our marriage was no longer invited to the wedding. His mom looked confused. She asked what he was talking about. Nathan said apparently some people in that room had a problem with him getting married. Danielle's mom spoke up. She'd clearly heard the story from Danielle already. She said it was inappropriate to uninvite Danielle after she'd been planning to attend for months. Nathan said it was inappropriate for Danielle to go to my bridal shower and tell his sister that the wedding should have been hers. Everyone reacted. His parents looked shocked. Danielle's dad stood up. Danielle started crying. There was yelling back and forth. Nathan's dad tried to calm everyone down. Danielle's mom kept defending her daughter. Nathan wasn't backing down. He uninvited Danielle's parents from the wedding too. The only exception was Jeff, who told his sister she was wrong and that he wasn't going to defend her behavior. Danielle and her parents left. Nathan's mom pulled us aside after they left. She said she was shocked this had happened, but that she supported us completely. Aubrey agreed. I tried to apologize for causing a rift between the families. Both of them told me I had nothing to apologize for. I'm writing this from our hotel in Napa. The wedding is in 3 days. This will probably be my last update before we get married. After Thanksgiving dinner, Danielle sent long messages to both Nathan and Aubrey. She accused them of betraying her. She said I was purposely trying to cause problems and divide the friend group. She told Nathan that their friendship meant nothing to him. Nathan blocked her number. Danielle then texted me. She said if I got jealous of every woman in Nathan's life, our marriage wouldn't last long. I blocked her, too. That Friday, I told Nathan I thought he could have handled the Thanksgiving dinner situation more privately. He agreed. Once he calmed down, he admitted he'd let his anger take over. I suggested he call Danielle one more time to apologize for how he'd handled it, even if he didn't regret what he'd said. He agreed that was fair. Nathan called Danielle Saturday morning. He told her that while he didn't regret anything he'd said, he could have been more mature about how he handled it. The call went nowhere. Danielle spent the whole time trying to convince him to change his mind about the wedding. She told him it wasn't too late to cancel everything. Nathan ended the call. Aubrey also called Danielle to apologize for how the dinner went down. I don't know what happened with their friendship after that, and I don't care to know. Thanksgiving itself was fine until late that night. My younger brother, Nathan, 19 male, was in a car accident. Another driver ran a red light and hit his car. Nathan ended up with a sprained wrist and a concussion. The other driver was killed. It's been a difficult few weeks for my family. My parents have been dealing with insurance companies and police reports. Nathan is okay now, but it shook everyone up. With everything that happened, I've barely thought about the Danielle situation. We've been in California for the past few days, doing final wedding prep. The venue looks beautiful. Most of our guests have arrived. Jimmy is still coming to the wedding with his new girlfriend. Jeff is coming without his family. Some people commented on my original post saying I was treating Nathan like a prize to be won. That's not what this is about. I'm not fighting over a man. I actually liked Danielle before all this happened. That's why she was invited in the first place. She's the one who created the situation. She's the one who made everything about her. I don't do well with conflict. It makes me tense, and I can't sleep. That's why I wanted this resolved before the wedding. I'm married now. The wedding happened exactly as planned. It was a good day. The vineyard was beautiful. The weather cooperated. Our families and friends celebrated with us. There were no incidents or drama. Jeff attended and seemed to enjoy himself. Jimmy and his girlfriend were there. Everyone had a good time. We spent a week in Napa after the wedding and then flew to Hawaii for 10 days. We got back home last week. I'm writing this update because a few things happened after we returned that people might want to know about. Danielle tried to contact Nathan again. She sent him an email since he blocked her number. The email was long. She apologized for what happened, but then spent several paragraphs explaining why her feelings were valid and why she thought Nathan was making a mistake. She said she'd always be there if he changed his mind. Nathan deleted the email and blocked her email address. We ran into Danielle's mom at the grocery store 2 days ago. She saw us in the produce section and walked over. She said it was a shame that a friendship had to end over a misunderstanding. Nathan told her there was no misunderstanding. His mom had been clear about her feelings and had disrespected our relationship. Danielle's mom said we were being cruel and that we'd regret losing such a loyal friend. Nathan said we were done with the conversation. We finished shopping and left. Aubrey told us last week that Danielle has been asking mutual friends about us. She wants to know if we're happy, if the marriage is going well, if Nathan has mentioned her. Aubrey said she's been shutting down those conversations immediately. She said she's maintained a surface-level friendship with Danielle for the sake of their families living on the same street, but they're not close anymore. A few people have asked me if I think Danielle will try anything else. I don't know. I hope she moves on. Nathan and I are focused on our life together. We're looking at houses to buy in the spring. We're planning a trip to Europe next fall. We're not spending time thinking about what Danielle might or might not do. Some people also asked if I trust Nathan. Yes, I do. He's been completely transparent through this entire situation. He cut off a lifelong friendship without hesitation because of what happened. He made it clear that our relationship comes first. That means something. This whole situation taught me that sometimes people hide who they really are for years. Danielle was friendly to my face while hoping my relationship would fail. She dated Nathan's friend while waiting for her chance. She came to my shower and fell apart in the bathroom. I don't understand that mindset. But I don't need to. She's not in our lives anymore. We're moving forward now. Let's move to the next story. I found a folder full of my husband's affair photos on our shared cloud drive while looking for a picture of our dog's Rash. He was cheated with a coworker while we were trying to get pregnant using a throwaway account. My husband uses this site sometimes, mostly for tech forums or gaming stuff, but I don't want this link back. He could be scrolling right now. I wouldn't know. We've been together for 8 years. We got married 3 years ago. Before yesterday morning, I hadn't questioned his faithfulness. Not once. He's generally a quiet person, reliable. If he says he'll fix the leaky faucet on Saturday, it's fixed by Saturday afternoon. He manages our joint savings account for the house down payment we're working towards. Every month, he shows me the statement, points out the interest, tracks the progress on a spreadsheet he made. He's meticulous about it. He was the one who stayed up with me for 3 nights straight when I had that severe flu winters ago, changing towels, bringing soup, making sure I took the medication on schedule. He's never given me a reason to doubt him. A few months back, maybe around October, he signed up for a premium version of the cloud storage service we both use. We have a shared family plan for basic stuff. Photos of trips, documents, things like that. He said the premium tier had better backup options for his work files and coding projects, plus more space. He works as a software developer. His explanation made sense. He often works on large projects from home. I use the basic cloud mostly for automatically backing up photos from my phone. We both have it set to auto-upload photos taken on our phones to separate folders within the shared plan just for convenience. Mine go to Sarah. Pics go to Henry. Phone. Pics. Simple. Yesterday morning, Saturday around 8 a.m., Henry was downstairs making coffee. I heard the grinder going. I was still in bed scrolling through news headlines on my tablet. I remembered taking a picture of a weird rash on our dogs or the previous evening to send to the vet on Monday. I wanted to find it to check if it looked worse. I opened the cloud storage app on my tablet, the one linked to our shared family plan. I navigated to my photo backup folder. Sarah, 1. Pics. It syncs automatically. I scrolled back to the previous evening's uploads. The dog picture wasn't immediately visible. Sometimes the sync gets delayed or files land in the main directory instead of the designated folder if the connection drops during upload. I went up one level to the main shared directory. There were the usual folders, documents, vacation, pics, Sarah, 1, pics, Henry phone, pics, house stuff. But there was another folder named Project, Archive, Backup, Tober. Henry sets up specific folders for his work backup sometimes, usually with complex names. This one looked plausible. He had mentioned working on a big archival project back in October when he upgraded the cloud plan. Curiosity, maybe, or just because I was still looking for the dog picture and thought maybe it landed there by mistake. I tapped on the project. Archive, Backup, Tober folder. It wasn't password protected inside. It wasn't code or work documents. It was photos, hundreds of them, and videos. Thumbnails loaded quickly. They weren't project files. They were pictures of a woman, not me. Close-ups, selfies, in different places. Some were just her face smiling. Others were not just her face. There were pictures clearly taken in hotel rooms. Rooms I didn't recognize. Pictures of her in beds that weren't ours. There were screenshots of text messages. Explicit ones. Dates on the file info went back months, starting around late September, early October. Consistent uploads every few days or weeks. One specific subfolder was dated from a weekend in November when Henry had supposedly gone on a solo hiking trip to clear his head before a big project deadline. He'd sent me pictures of trees and a blurry one of his boots near a stream. The photos in this cloud subfolder were disstamped that same weekend. They showed the woman Mel, according to some file names and message screenshots, and Henry together in a hotel room. There was a picture of them raising champagne glasses, the hotel logo visible on a coaster on the bedside table. It was a chain hotel near the city he supposedly hiked near. There was another picture, a selfie taken by Henry with Mel beside him in the bed, her head on his shoulder. His arm was around her. I closed the folder. I closed the app. I put the tablet down on the nightstand. The coffee grinder downstairs had stopped. I heard the drip machine starting its cycle. I got out of bed and walked into the bathroom. I looked in the mirror. Then I turned on the shower, waited for the water to heat up, and got in. I stood under the water for a long time, just letting it run. When the water started feeling cooler, I turned it off, dried myself, got dressed, and went downstairs. Henry was sitting at the kitchen table reading something on his laptop, a mug of coffee beside him. He looked up. "Morning. Coffee's ready," he said. I walked to the coffee machine, poured myself a mug. I didn't add milk or sugar. I usually take both. I took a sip. It was hot. I carried the mug back upstairs. I went into the spare room where my work desk is. I sat down at the desk. I opened my laptop. I looked at the login screen. I didn't log in. I just sat there holding the coffee mug. It gradually cooled down in my hands. Later, Henry came upstairs. He stood in the doorway of the spare room. "Everything okay?" You didn't say much. I looked at the laptop screen just thinking about work. "On a Saturday?" he asked. "Big deadline coming up," I replied, still looking at the screen. He stood there for another moment. "Okay. Well, I was thinking of mowing the lawn later if it doesn't rain." "Okay," I said. He left. I heard his footsteps going back downstairs. I stayed at the desk. I didn't open the cloud app again. I didn't need to. The images were clear. The dates were clear. The location in some photos was clear. The champagne glasses, his arm around her. We've been trying for a baby for over a year. Last month, we had our first consultation at a fertility clinic. We filled out forms. We talked about schedules, procedures, costs. We have the second appointment booked for next week. Henry held my hand during the first appointment. He asked the doctor detailed questions about success rates. He's downstairs now, probably reading or working on one of his projects. I'm still in the spare room. I haven't spoken to him since the exchange about the lawn. I picked up my phone. I typed out a text to my sister asking if I could come over. She lives about 30 minutes away. She replied almost instantly. "Sure. Everything okay?" I typed back, "Just need a change of scene. Bring pizza?" She replied, "Pepperoni." I sent a thumbs up emoji. I don't know what to say to him. How do you start that conversation? I saw pictures. Pictures you put in a folder named Project, Archive, Backup, Tober. Pictures of you and another woman named Mel in a hotel room from the weekend you said you were hiking alone. Pictures starting around the time you upgraded our cloud storage. What is there to even ask? The file information showed they were taken with his phone. They were uploaded to his account. It seems straightforward. Is it possible I'm misunderstanding something fundamental here? What else could it be? How do I bring this up? Thank you to the few people who commented with advice and support on the original post. I read them all. It helped to know I wasn't just floating adrift. Henry definitely knew something was off yesterday. He kept asking if I was feeling all right, if work was stressful, if I was worried about the upcoming clinic appointment. He hovered a bit. I just kept my answers short. Said I had a headache. Said I was tired. Around 4 p.m. I packed an overnight bag. "Where are you going?" he asked, standing in the bedroom doorway as I put toiletries into the bag. "To Christina's," I said. "Christina is my younger sister. She's having a tough time with her job search. Thought I'd hang out, keep her company, order pizza." He nodded slowly. "Okay, Overnight? Yeah, probably easier. We might watch a movie late or something. All right, drive safe, he said. He didn't offer to come. He didn't question it further. I got to Christina's apartment. She had already ordered the pizza. As soon as she closed the door behind me, she asked, "Okay, what's really going on?" "Your texts were weird." I put my bag down. I took a deep breath. I told her about the cloud folder, the name project, archive, backup, Tober. The pictures, the videos, the screenshots, Mel, the hotel room from the hiking weekend, the date starting around October, his phone taking the pictures, the fertility clinic appointment next week. Christina didn't say anything at first. She just took the pizza box from the delivery guy who buzzed up right then, paid him, and put the box on her small kitchen counter. She opened it. Pepperoni. She handed me a plate. We both took a slice and sat down on her sofa. We ate the first slice without talking. Then Christina put her plate down. "Okay, Mel, you saw message screenshots with her name?" "Yes. And some photo file names were like Mel November, Henry, Mel Selfie October." "Does he work with anyone named Mel or Melinda?" "Melissa." Christina works in HR for a different company. Her mind goes to workplaces. Not that he's ever mentioned. His immediate team is small. Mostly guys. He did a big cross-departmental project last fall, though. Maybe he met someone then. Christina picked up her laptop from the coffee table. "What's the company name again?" I told her it's a large tech corporation with multiple divisions. She went to LinkedIn. She searched the company. Then she started searching for people named Mel, Melissa, Melinda, Melanie who work there. She filtered by location, our city. Several profiles popped up. "Do you remember what she looked like from the pictures?" Christina asked, turning the laptop towards me. I looked through the profile pictures. Maybe. It's hard to say. The pictures I saw were close-ups or group shots were blurry. I pointed to one. "This one. Maybe. Melissa R. Her hair is the right color. Profile says she's in marketing." Marketing? Did his project involve marketing? I think so. It was about integrating some new user analytics tool. Marketing would definitely be involved. Christina clicked on the profile. Melissa listed the cross-departmental user analytics project from last fall under her experience. Her start date at the company was about 2 years ago. She was friends on LinkedIn with a couple of people Henry has mentioned as work acquaintances, though not his close team members. Okay, so there's Al in marketing. Worked on the same project last fall. Lives in the same city. Fits, Christina said, closing the laptop. It doesn't prove anything definitively, but it's a connection. We spent the rest of the evening talking logistics. Christina is practical. She asked if I had copies of the photos. I didn't. I had just closed the app. I hadn't thought to screenshot or download. "Can you access them again?" "Probably, unless he deleted them or changed the folder permissions or something." "Check. Now," she said. I took out my tablet. I opened the cloud app. I navigated to the main directory. The folder project, archive, backup, Tober, was gone. I searched for Mel. Nothing. I checked the trash folder in the app. Empty. He must have deleted it sometime yesterday after I started acting distant. Or maybe he had it set to auto, though that seemed unlikely for a backup. Christina tapped her fingers on the table. "Okay, so the direct evidence is gone from your access point, but you saw it. You know the name. You know the time frame. You know the project connection. What do I do?" I asked. "You need to decide what you want to happen next." She said, "But before you talk to Henry, you need information and a plan." She suggested I talk to a lawyer just to understand options. Our parents have a friend, David, who handles family law. He helped my aunt with her divorce years ago. Christina found his office number online. I wrote it down. She also suggested I start gathering financial documents, bank statements, pay stubs, the spreadsheet Henry uses for the house savings, records of the fertility clinic payment so far. Just get copies quietly. Put them somewhere safe, she advised. I stayed at Christina's last night. I slept on her pull-out sofa. It wasn't comfortable. I woke up several times. This morning, Sunday, I called David's office number. I got his voicemail. Left a message saying I was Christina's sister and needed to schedule a consultation about a potential family law matter. I asked him to call me back on my cell. Henry texted me around 9 a.m. this morning. "Hope Christina is feeling better. Everything okay there? Need anything?" I replied, "Things are fine. Just talking." "Well, head back later this afternoon," he replied. "Okay, let me know when you leave. I'm still at Christina's." I gathered some of my online bank statements and saved them to a USB drive Christina gave me. I could access the joint saving statements online too. I saved those as well. Henry keeps printed copies of the house savings spreadsheet in his desk drawer, but I didn't want to risk going back home yet to get them. David, the lawyer, called me back around 11 a.m. He remembered my aunt's case. He had an opening for a phone consultation tomorrow morning, Monday. I took it. Christina made pancakes. We ate them while watching some mindless TV show. Now I'm figuring out when to go back home. I need to go back. But I don't know what happens when I walk through that door. I still haven't figured out how to start the conversation or what conversation to even have. Christina suggested I don't confront him until after speaking with David. That seems sensible. So, I guess I go home, act normal, and wait until tomorrow morning's call. It's Monday evening. I spoke with David, the lawyer, this morning. The call lasted about an hour. He asked for the basic timeline, how long we've been together, married, about the house savings, the fertility treatments. I explained what I found in the cloud folder, the name Mel, the LinkedIn connection, the deleted folder. He listened patiently. He explained the legal process for separation and divorce in our state. He talked about division of assets, potential relevance of infidelity, less direct impact on financial outcomes in our no-fault state, but could be relevant for negotiating leverage, especially regarding dissipated assets, if money was spent on the affair, and child-related matters if the fertility treatments were successful. He advised gathering more financial documentation if possible, especially proof of any joint funds potentially spent on non-marital activities like hotels, gifts for Mel. He emphasized documenting everything: dates, times, specific observations. He told me not to move out of the house unless I felt unsafe, as it could potentially complicate claims to the property later. He sent me a follow-up email summarizing the points and outlining his fees if I decided to retain him. I spent most of today working from home in the spare room. Henry worked from his usual spot downstairs. We had minimal interaction. He asked if I wanted lunch when he was making himself a sandwich. I said I wasn't hungry. He brought me a glass of water later. He didn't ask about my night at Christina's again. The atmosphere was like static electricity. You couldn't see it, but you could feel the charge. Around 6 p.m., Henry came upstairs. "Are we going to talk?" he asked from the doorway. I stopped typing. I turned my chair to face him. "Talk about what?" "About why you spent Saturday night staring at your laptop, Sunday night at Christina's, and all day today acting like I'm a stranger." I looked at him. His expression was guarded. "Okay, let's talk," I said. I stood up downstairs. We went down to the living room. I sat on the armchair. He sat on the sofa opposite me. I started. "On Saturday morning, I was looking for a picture of the dog's ear in the cloud drive." He frowned slightly. "Okay." I couldn't find it in my folder, so I looked in the main directory. I saw a folder named Project, Archive, Backup, Tober. His posture changed. He leaned forward slightly. He didn't say anything. I opened it. I continued. It wasn't project files. It was pictures, videos, screenshots of you and a woman named Mel, starting last October. He stared at me. His face was pale. "Pictures in hotel rooms, including the weekend in November. You said you went hiking alone." Silence. He just looked at me. "I saw screenshots of messages. Explicit ones. I saw pictures taken on your phone." He broke eye contact then, looking down at his hands clasped in his lap. "The folder isn't there anymore," I said. "I checked yesterday. It's gone." He still didn't speak. "Who is Mel?" I asked. He swallowed, looked up again, but not directly at my eyes, more at the wall behind me. She works at the company in marketing, the cross-departmental project last fall." He nodded mutely. "Why were there hundreds of photos and videos of her and of the two of you in a folder labeled Project Archive Backup?" He shifted on the sofa. I don't know why I named it that. It was stupid. "And the pictures, the hotel, the hiking weekend." He took a shaky breath. "It started on the project. We worked late sometimes. We got coffee." He paused. "It just happened." "What just happened?" I asked, keeping my voice level. "We got close. He trailed off. "Were you sleeping with her?" He flinched. He looked down again. "Yes." "Starting when?" "October. Around then." "Yes." "Including the weekend you said you were hiking?" "Yes." "How many times?" He shook his head. "I don't know. A few times. Maybe more." "Did you use protection?" He hesitated. Most of the time?" "Yes." He wouldn't look at me. "We started fertility treatments last month. Henry, we have an appointment next week. Did that cross your mind while you were with Mel?" He closed his eyes briefly. "Sarah? I'm sorry. It was a mistake. A huge mistake. It didn't mean anything. Hundreds of photos and videos. Months lying about where you were while we're trying to start a family. I know it sounds bad, but it's over. It ended before Christmas. Why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't want to hurt you. I was going to. I don't know. I was stupid. I panicked when I realized you might have seen the folder. I deleted it." "You deleted it Saturday afternoon?" "Yes. After you left for Christina's, I guessed. I saw how you were acting. I thought you might have seen it. So, you lied, and then you covered it up. I'm sorry, Sarah. I am so sorry. Please, can we fix this?" He finally looked at me, his eyes wet. I stood up from the armchair. "You need to leave." I said. "What?" "Sarah, no. Please, let's talk more. We can go to counseling. Anything." He stood up too. "No. Not right now. You need to pack a bag and go somewhere else. A hotel, a friend's place, Mel's place. I don't care. Just leave." My voice didn't shake. "For how long? I don't know yet. I need space. I need to think." He started to argue, to plead. He said counseling could help, that people make mistakes, that he loved me. He tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. "Henry, get your things and go now." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he turned and walked towards the stairs. "Don't do this, Sarah." "I'm not doing anything. You did this," I said to his back. He went upstairs. I heard drawers opening and closing. About 20 minutes later, he came down carrying a duffel bag in his laptop case. He paused at the front door. He looked back at me, standing in the living room entrance. He opened his mouth as if to say something, then closed it. He opened the door and left, pulling it shut behind him. I locked the deadbolt. I drew the chain across. I went around the house and checked that all the windows were locked. Then I went back to the living room and sat down on the armchair again. The house was completely quiet. I called Christina. "He's gone," I said when she answered. "What happened?" I told her about the conversation, his admission, His claim. It was over. My telling him to leave. Good, she said. Are you okay? Do you want me to come over? Not tonight. I think I just needed to be quiet. Okay. Call me anytime. Seriously. Middle of the night. Doesn't matter. I will. Thanks, Christina. I called the fertility clinic and canceled our appointment for next week. I just said we needed to reschedule indefinitely due to personal circumstances. The receptionist was understanding. I made myself some tea. I walked through the quiet house. His coffee mug was still on the kitchen table from this morning. His shoes were gone from the mat by the back door. His jacket wasn't on the hook. I haven't decided anything definitively about divorce yet. David said there's no rush, but him being here wasn't possible. I need to get those financial papers from his desk. I need to figure out the next steps regarding the house savings, everything. For now, the house is quiet. It's been about 3 weeks since Henry left. The first few days were a blur of practicalities. I contacted David again and formally retained him as my lawyer. He had me sign paperwork and gave me a list of financial documents to gather. Henry left his desk relatively tidy. I found the printed spreadsheets for the house savings account easily. I also found bank statements, credit card statements. He had his own cards besides our joint ones, and pay stubs going back over a year. I made copies of everything and sent them securely to David's office as requested. Henry texted a few times in the first week. Apologies. Request to talk. Questions about mail. I kept my replies brief and focused only on necessary logistics like forwarding important mail. David advised communicating primarily through him or email for record keeping, especially regarding finances or property. Henry didn't like that. He sent one text saying, "Are we really doing this through lawyers? Can't we just talk like adults?" I didn't reply to that one. I forwarded it to David. Christina came over the first weekend after Henry left. She helped me change the sheets on the bed. We ordered takeout. We didn't talk much about Henry or Mel. We mostly watched old movies. Her presence was studying. My parents called too. Christina had told them the basics. My mom offered to come stay. I told her I appreciated it, but needed some space first. My dad, who is usually a man of few words, just said on the phone, "You doing okay, kiddo? Need anything? You call." David's initial review of the financials didn't show large, obvious sums going missing, but he noted Henry had significantly increased cash withdrawals from his personal account starting last fall. It wasn't huge amounts each time, but it added up to several thousand over the months until December. There were also a few hotel charges on his personal credit card during that period, including one matching the hotel chain I'd seen in the photos from the hiking weekend. David said this could potentially be argued as dissipation of marital assets, meaning I might be entitled to a larger share of the remaining assets to compensate. Henry emailed me last week through his own lawyer formally proposing mediation to sort out the finances and separation agreement. David said, mediation is common and often quicker and less expensive than going straight to court, provided both parties are willing to negotiate reasonably. He advised agreeing to it at least initially. We have the first session scheduled for next month. I went back to the fertility clinic alone. I had a consultation with the doctor to discuss my options moving forward given the change in circumstances. We discussed pausing treatments, potential future options like using donor sperm if I chose to proceed alone later, or freezing eggs. It was an informative but emotionally blank conversation. I haven't made any decisions there yet. For now, everything related to that is on hold. Work has been busy, which is helpful. I manage marketing campaigns and focusing on deadlines and deliverables keeps my mind occupied during the day. I work from home most days now. The spare room feels like my space. I found a box of Henry's old college textbooks in the back of the closet while looking for something else. Seeing them just sitting there felt strange. I moved the box to the garage. I haven't started packing up his other things yet. It feels like a big task, one step at a time. The house is still quiet. Some days the quiet feels peaceful. Other days it just feels empty. I took the dog for a long walk in the park yesterday. The rash on his are cleared up on its own. Life continues one practical step after another. The immediate crisis is over, replaced by the slow, methodical process of untangling a shared life. There are no easy answers or quick fixes, just paperwork, phone calls, and figuring out what comes next. That's all for now.